Hello everyone and welcome back to CMB Extra. It is me, Chester, here to give you a bit of an update video around CMB Extra going into 2020, which is quite an exciting time. You know, the beginning of a year, it gives content creators a chance to really look at the year that's been and kind of reassess the stuff they want to do and how they want to do it, and gives me also a chance to communicate to you guys kind of the floor plan in a lot of ways. Basically stuff like that. So let's jump into it. Before we get into the plans of videos and all that type of stuff, everything's going to be releasing soon, and my plan for the entire coming year, I want to take a moment to talk about 2019, which was quite a big year for this channel. The channel tripled in size. Yeah, again, it's not a very big channel, but it tripled in size. Average views went from 20 views a video to around 200 or so, which is a pretty big change for me, and considering that I haven't really been doing this style of content on this channel for a very long time. I've been doing this channel for a few years now, but around the beginning of 2019 I deleted all those old videos, rebranded, gave a whole different identity, all that type of stuff. So people who followed over from CMB Corp will know about all that type of stuff because I've talked about it a few times. But yeah, the channel has really grown over this time, and I'm really excited about that. And also, just before we get into my future plans, I want to talk about why I haven't been uploading. Firstly, yeah, holidays, Christmas, New Year's, all that type of stuff. But if you haven't heard about it, Australia is in a bit of a pickle at the moment with some extremely dangerous fires, and we've been in some pretty unpleasant situations, some very dangerous situations at the moment, constantly packing and unpacking cars, all that type of stuff, dealing with extreme amounts of smoke. So video making hasn't been my main priority at the moment, so that's why this video isn't scripted or anything like that. I just really haven't had the desire to put a whole bunch of work into a video while all this other stuff is going on, so that's just the reason why. But anyway, into the future plans. So as we go through the year, I want to do a whole bunch of different style videos and new videos on content other than just straight SpongeBob or Persona 5 or anything like that, because, you know, with Battlefield Bikini Bottom Rehydrated release coming sooner and sooner, when that comes out, I'm not going to have very much content on that after the review and Let's Play to actually do on that type of stuff, and it'll probably be a little while before we get a new announcement. So I need stuff that I can rely on, other content which I can continuously talk about and do all that type of stuff. So one of the video ideas I've had is to talk about Payday 2 and the controversy around that, and talk about games that I'm interested in but I've never really brought up here, and talk about stuff that I hope people really enjoy. And that's also what I want to focus on, is talking about lesser known games and games that don't have as much of a voice surrounding them, because the SpongeBob community has grown quite a lot on YouTube over the past 3 years or so, which is something I talked about in my previous video. But I'd like to talk about games that aren't overly brought about or aren't overly talked about, all that type of stuff. I want to talk about some of those type of stuff. Like I want to do a series on the THQ franchise and stuff like that, and lesser known games, GBA games, all that type of stuff. I also want reviews to be a bit more in depth, because with all the copper stuff, we're starting to learn a lot more about it, like how they will target stuff, and a lot of that comes down to language used and the intent of who the video is aimed at. And my content is mostly aimed at an older audience, but yeah, again, I'm using more simple language. I'm talking about mostly kids content type stuff. So with these new reviews, I want to put more of a focus on analytical content and presenting it more like an essay, so it gives it even more of a more mature angle, all that type of stuff. So that can help me kind of get around copper while still talking about the games I love to talk about, but giving them more of an edge to them like that. Not using language like swearing a whole bunch or anything like that, but just using more thought out, more analytical language, all that type of stuff. So that's some of my thoughts for that, but while still trying to keep some comedy aspects as well. Also, a few months ago in an update video, I mentioned how when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to branch into live streaming, which is something I still intend to do. We'll see how we go with the 1,000 subscribers thing. We're getting quite close, so I'm looking forward to that. The main thing is internet, because here in Australia, the internet is not very good, but I'm going to try and look into all that type of stuff and hopefully do some live streams here on YouTube, which I think could be really fun to talk about games that I don't really want to put the hours of editing and scripting work into. I think that could be really fun as well. Another thing I really want to do this year is talk about some horror games, and specifically do a series on horror games, so a series of videos, all that type of stuff, because I do not handle horror at well, and I'm quite someone who's quite opposed to horror on most fronts. There's only a few movies that I've liked, the horror movies, and I'm currently playing through Resident Evil 2, the remaster, remake, whatever it is, because I want to do a video about that. But I want to do videos on horror games as someone who doesn't really understand them, doesn't really like them. I want to do videos about that, which I feel like could be really fun, because there's a lot of people like me who see all the hype surrounding horror games, and especially around Resident Evil 2 when that came out, but doesn't really understand why. I'd like to do a video on that, talking about that and talking about my experience with that type of stuff. So that's one thing I would really like to do. But I'd also like to do a much bigger focus on covering games that are suggested in the comments. So I've taken suggestions a few times, like for some SpongeBob games, I've got a bunch of suggestions from that. But taking more literal suggestions from comments about doing videos to give everything a bit more of a community input feel. So when someone suggests something, I could actually do it, and then they feel like, I've listened. Wouldn't that be great? So I want to do something more stuff along that lines, just to get everything more of a feeling of. To give everything more of a community feel, like you guys give me suggestions, I create stuff that you guys can enjoy, backwards and forwards types of things. I think that could be really fun going through this year. So yeah, basic outline, I want to do videos on stuff that's less well known, I want to do reviews that are more analytical and essay structured, I want to branch into some live streaming stuff, I want to build more of community stuff, and I just want to do more videos that don't fit the whole SpongeBob criteria as well, but that you guys will still really enjoy. So that's the main thing. I'm not stopping SpongeBob. SpongeBob's going to be a big part of this channel forever, but there's only so many SpongeBob games out there really, and there's only so much news that comes out that I can talk about type of stuff. So I want to build up some other stuff and talk about some other stuff, and also hopefully do some more videos with other creators in that time, all that type of stuff. So anyway, that's everything for now. Hopefully got a video coming out soon. It's a lot of work, which is why I'm doing this one now rather than working on that one. It's about like a whole bunch of the DS released SpongeBob games, so focused on all those ones, like 5 or 6 of them type of thing. So yeah, anyway, thank you very so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye. Mwah!